Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process of how after getting a bachelor's or a master's degree from India, you can get a fully funded PhD position in US, Europe and beyond. So without any further ado, let's get started. So this entire process can be broken down into 7 simple steps. The first one is that you need to decide what you want to study. And in this, you need to be very specific. For example, if you have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, you cannot say that I want to do a PhD in civil engineering. Eventually, you will get a degree of PhD in civil engineering, but when you're applying, you have to be very specific. So what I mean by this is, for example, if you have a bachelor's in civil engineering, you can say that you want to do a PhD on numerical modeling of fracture in concrete, for example. Similarly, if you have a bachelor's in computer science or electronics and communication engineering, you can say that you want to work on using AI for any medical diagnosis or using AI in teleprompter machine, something like that. So you have to be more specific. Why this is important is because when you're specific, it helps you in identifying the right professor, and it also helps the professor in identifying the right candidate, because he knows that this candidate does have some idea about what he wants to do. So this is really important. The second step is deciding where you want to study. So this can be broadly classified into 2 groups. The first group is countries like USA and Canada, which are good for those people who only have a bachelor's degree, because these countries have programs where they directly take students with a bachelor's degree without any requirement of having a master's degree. On the other hand, there is a separate group of countries like the European countries. In those countries, you are required to have a master's degree mostly. So if you don't have a master's degree, then getting a PhD offer in these countries is going to be difficult for you. So you need to decide based on what degree you have right now. You have to shortlist which are the countries that you are going to have a good chance of getting into a PhD program. Okay, so that completes the first 2 steps of this process. And what I would suggest is that you should figure these things out before like 1 year of when you want to start your PhD. So for example, today it's November 2025, and if someone wants to apply for fall admission in 2026, then they should start this process maybe in August. They should have started this process in August or September of 2025. So you start searching for the universities and professors. It takes a month or 2, and once you shortlist them, and then you can move on to the next step. Okay, so once you have decided what you want to study and where you want to study, the next thing you need to do is shortlist 8 to 10 universities that have professors who work in the same area as you want to. So once you have a list of the universities and the professors that you want to work with, the next step is that you go on to the websites of these universities and you need to check 3 things. The first thing is you need to check whether they have any requirement of a master's degree or not. And for example, if you don't have a master's degree and the university requires a master's degree, then you can remove that university from your list and you can try to search for another university which does not have that requirement. The second thing is you need to check what is the application deadline. So typically for most universities, the deadline for fall intake would be somewhere around November. So if you want to apply for fall 2026, the deadline for applications would be typically around October or November of 2025, and so on. And the third thing that you want to check is whether that university has any requirements of tests like GRE and English proficiency tests like TOEFL or IELTS. So mostly most top schools have revoked any need for having a GRE, but English proficiency tests are still needed by most universities. Okay, so before we move on to the next step, I would just like to highlight an important point here. So when you are creating this list of the professors and the universities, let's say you are going to make a list of 12 universities. So how I would personally make this list is I would find 4 professors which I think are maybe the best in this field, or among the top researchers in this field. So 4 would be the very best from this field. 4 of them would be some professors which I think they're not the best, but they are still very good, and that's somewhere where I think I have a decent chance of getting an admission. And the last 4 you can keep as professors which are not maybe that popular, and that gives you something as a backup plan. So in case the first 8 options don't work out and you don't get any offers from those universities, you can have 4 universities which are relatively easier to get into. So that gives you at least a backup plan in case your application is not accepted by any of the top universities. Okay, moving on, the next step would be to strengthen your research profile. So this is something that research profile is not something that you can build in a month or so. So you need to have some background. But there are certainly certain things that you can do, during this process while you're applying to strengthen your research profile. For example, if you did some work as your BTech project, you can try to publish, if not a journal, at least a conference paper from this work, and you can present that work in a conference. That helps to boost your profile. You can also do like an internship. For example, let's say you want to apply for an AI research profile in computer science department. You can do an internship in a tech company. So these are some things that you can do when you are starting your application. But as I said, a research profile is not something that you can build in a month or so. So if you're someone who is still in your bachelor's, you're in your third year or fourth year, what I would suggest is that you work with dedication on your research, on your BTech project. Take that seriously and work on that with the aim that I want to publish this work, because if you have a publication when you're applying, that really, your profile stands out if you have a publication, and that's only possible if you have worked on something for a sustained period of time. So if you're still in your undergrad and you have an intention of applying for PhD over the next year or a couple of years, I would say work on that project wholeheartedly and try to get a conference paper or a journal paper out of it. Okay, moving on to step 5 is which is contacting your potential supervisors. So once you have the list, you go onto the university websites or you just search for the professor's name on Google, and you will you have to find their mail IDs, and then you write a cold email to these professors. And there are certain things that you need to keep in mind when you are writing these emails. So you need to be professional and you need to be on point. You don't need to meander about random things. So basically there are 4 or 5 things that you write in cold emails. So you first introduce yourself, what is your educational background, and what work you have done so far, and then you can talk about their works that interest you and your ideas on how you want to use your skills to combine those skills and extend the research that their group is currently working on. So that's the roughly going to be the summary of your cold email. But if you want more details on this, drop a comment below and I'll make a separate video on how to write these cold emails so that you get there's a maximum chance of a reply from your potential supervisor. Now if you have followed everything I've said so far and you send these cold emails, so typically within few weeks or a month you should get reply from at least some of these professors if they think that you are a suitable candidate and they have vacancies available at that time. And once they revert back to you, they will mostly ask for an online meeting, a couple of meetings at most, and in these meetings they might ask you to present any work that you might have previously done as a BTech project or as your master's project. So you have to be prepared for these things. Make a small presentation and try to make maximum use of that time and showcase your skill set in those meetings. Okay, so if everything goes well and the professor thinks that you are the right match, then he will let you know through an email, and congratulations, you have your first PhD offer. And you can have multiple offers, and then it's up to you to decide where you want to apply and which offer you are going to accept finally. And once you have an offer in your hand, then you move on to the legal formalities that need to be done. Finally, when you have an offer letter from the university, then you can move on to the last step, which is applying for a student visa or a research visa, whichever is applicable to the country that you are going to. And then you start preparing your travel to that country, and that also in itself is a very hectic process, but I think that is something to discuss in the next video. So for now, I think that's everything that I wanted to tell you about the things that you need to keep in mind when you are applying for PhD admissions. If I have missed any points, you can comment below, and till then, yeah, I think all the best for your PhD journey, and let me know if you need any help. I'll drop my email below, and you can also personally reach out to me if you want any more help. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and share it with someone who might need it. Till then, bye bye.